in my wildest dreams could I have imagined that I would be subjected to so much unnecessary scrutiny by going out to lunch with a coworker, someone I've known for 10 years and I consider a family friend. I'm proud of my record of service with the Ethics Commission and have worked here over 12 years without a whiff of scandal. I recognize that I'm not universally loved and the job I hold makes me a target. I also understand that given my position, I'm held to a higher standard than most other government employees. Over the years, I've developed a pretty good sense of what is ethical and what is not. The phrase "an appearance of impropriety" is often used when we evaluate the conduct of someone whose behavior might be perceived as perfectly legal, but somehow improper. There's nothing illegal, criminal, or improper about my relationship with Ms. Sanchez, and it had no effect on the way I treated others in the workplace. No hostile work environment was ever created by my actions, and there's absolutely nothing to the allegations that she received favorable treatment from me because we occasionally would have lunch together. Ms. Sanchez was promoted to her current position based on merit. In fact, our budget analyst from the county manager's office recognized that Ms. Sanchez was underpaid and not properly classified given her responsibilities with the Ethics Commission. With her suggestion in mind, I reclassified her and gave her a raise. And most importantly, I want the record to reflect that I'm troubled by the fact that so much attention has been paid to malicious untruths about me from anonymous sources. I have a pretty good idea that the two memoranda passed on to the mayor's office was generated by individuals working for the Ethics Commission. I have no idea why my employees would go to such lengths in an effort to destroy me, but I suspect it was out of fear. There is a real possibility that our budget will be cut again in 2011 and 2012, and some employees could lose their jobs. And in an act of desperation, some may have concocted these lies to keep their positions. The irony is that I've done everything in my power over the years to protect every employee in this office from major salary cuts and loss of benefits, and have taken the heat from others for doing so, including the mayor. All I ask from the employees is that they come to work and be productive. The events of the last 2 months have created great personal strain on me and my family and all of our employees, but it's time to move on and get back to work. The recommendations put forward by the Vice Chair are needed, and I will do my part to implement them. I look forward to a more detailed discussion of these recommendations and other related items at our retreat later in the month. The reality is, in my opinion, it's almost unfathomable for me to believe that those notes, were taken by an outsider and passed along to the mayor. It's possible they were taken by somebody inside the office or given to an outsider and then given to the mayor, or they were taken directly by somebody in this office and sent over to the mayor's office. So as long as that backdrop exists, that there are, in my opinion, there are people in this organization who, for whatever reason have attempted, to smear my reputation, it's going to be very difficult to move on, and I think we're losing sight of the fact that this was an anonymous complaint, and people can manufacture lies about anybody and blow it out of proportion, and they knew what they were doing. They went to the mayor to get the response that they're getting. If this has been passed on to a department director somewhere or to a third party, I don't think it would receive the attention that it's receiving today. There's no, the public record is full of examples where the mayor and I over the past year have gone head to head. So knowing that, I suspect the people that provided him this information knew that he would make a big deal about it, and he simply didn't pass it along to the Ethics Commission. He did more than that. And maybe his goal is to embarrass me and indirectly or directly the Ethics Commission. But I stand here today telling you that there's absolutely nothing to any of this. I think the report proves that, and I believe the people who planted this were people in this agency. And it's unfortunate that the investigation that I had nothing to do with wasn't able to bear that out. But being in this field for so many years, it's hard to imagine that there could have been an outsider who would have had access to quote those notes that blew this whole thing out of proportion. I mean, I think we're looking at something that's an ant with a magnifying glass, and we're blowing it completely out of proportion. And in 12 years of service, if this is the only allegation against me in 12 years, which is made by anonymous sources, I think I've done a pretty stellar job, protecting the integrity of this office. And what I've had to go through over 2 months now, this has been going on for 2 months, and the thought of it, dragging on further over what? because so there's an anonymous information that I had a relationship with a coworker who's been a friend of my family's for 10 years, who got promoted because she was a good employee, who had her responsibilities removed when people complained that she wasn't a good supervisor. Yeah, I mean, to some degree there's favoritism. I tend to favor the people who work hard in this agency. And finally, I understand the pressure on all employees here. The budget cuts have been difficult for everybody, and that's going to continue. And there's a direct correlation between tough economic times and more EEOC complaints. And as times get tough, people resort to things like that to try to protect themselves. So I don't know who the people are, but I suspect it's coming from inside the agency, and that's a concern as well. But I'm willing to move forward as well. I don't think I have a choice, and say, look, whatever your reasons were for doing what you did, we are going to do our best to do the public's work, and hopefully I can be part of that process in the future. Thank you.